Well, I would like to ask you if we could open up some questions from the audience here. I'm sure there's some burning questions. Oh, hands flying up right here to ask you. I'll invite you to come up to this seat and ask John Payne a question.
How you doing, man? What's your name?
Ashaka. Quick question. Just basically wondering, I don't know how to say it, but now that I guess Death Row is under a new owner, are you still going to portray Death Row as gangster rap, or you try to do world music?
Actually, what's going to happen is we're going to maintain the integrity of Death Row, which means it's going to be the same. It's not necessarily gangster rap. It's going to be in the sense of what we put out the catalog, anything that was Death Row, but Death Row is more than just that. Death Row was actually extremely artist-based, so it's not even just going to be West Coast.
Okay.
You have to have that original flavor, you know. At Death Row, when we did the deep cover, and we did the Chronic, that was just originality. That's what Death Row is about. So, in evolution, you know, we don't want anyone else getting shot or anything like that. So in evolution, wherever that takes us, that you can still make the statements that you want to state, be the individual, and put out music, and feel free to not be censored and compromised. And what we hope that this helps to do is help with the evolution of hip hop, because it's actually has slowed down tremendously from what I see. You know, when the Chronic came, it had this stuff, but a lot of people stayed in that vein. Some more originality. Hopefully, we can spark some of that too. So we're not looking in Los Angeles. You know, if somebody comes up to us, you might say something and we go, God, you know, that's it. So we're not going to maintain a negative image. We're going to maintain an artistic image.
Okay. And whereabouts are you really looking for, and what are you really looking for in an artist? Really?
It's only one answer: originality.
Originality.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can look for. So I said we don't need another somebody. Originality is what I should look for. Anybody should look for. Otherwise, you know, what's the point? We already have this. You just shut the door and keep everybody out, because we've got these same 6 people that you hear on the radio every hour. You know, we want something more, something new, something good, something to get everyone's attention.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And is there another question?
Yes.
What's up, man?
Come on, man.
And what's your name?
Smith the Wonder, Sean Marzu. I was sitting up thinking, like, you guys control Death Row now. Death Row pretty much, when hip hop became hot, because it's young. Hip hop's 20, 30 years old. And when it became hot, there was pretty much 2 labels. There was Death Row, there was Bad Boy, and there was all the majors. So you purchased pretty much a historic archive of hip hop. And now you have a second label, second side, Wide Awake Music. And I just want to know how you separate it, because Wide Awake Music's what you guys are moving ahead with now in a sense.
No, not necessarily. What it is Death Row can only be Death Row.
Right.
So a lot of things that we would do at Wide Awake, you would do with Death Row, because we have gospel, we have other genres of music. We want to since we bought an existing catalog with people on it, we just want to maintain the legacy and integrity of Death Row. So we keep that as it is. But as Wide Awake, then we can do more, we can branch out more, we can provide more. So it's not a case of, you know, we don't want to do things with Death Row, but we can let that be. It is. It's like you don't reinvent the wheel. So let that evolve and let it continue, because we have Death Row from 1993 to 2006 and 7, so we can let that ride a bit.
Right.
But at the same time, we can nurture other artists. But that's not to say that with Death Row, we won't put artists on Death Row.
Okay.
You know, of a similar genre.
Right.
But we're not going to take a pop act, we're not going to take a gospel act, we're not going to take a rock act and put that into the Death Row thing, because that could affect the integrity.
Right, so pretty much it's one side is...
Yeah, for now. You know,
Right.
right now, especially starting out, you know, there's a lot of people that, for some reason, think that they own the label. They didn't pay the $18 million, but they think that they know. They think that they know best. I mean, they, you know, I would have no problem with them giving me like $9 million. They can have a little say so. But they feel as though they own it. So we do want to maintain the integrity, but also we have to regain the we have to. It's not just we have to regain the trust of people, so they can see that this is It's still death row, but it's done in a way that it's more friendly, so that you can understand what the music was about. So you hear a lot of things, and we don't have murder stuff like. But when you listen to the music, and there's various what could be considered negative images, now you can see the story, and this is where the people came from, and it was a product of their environment.
Right.
But by perpetuating it with the media, and people getting shot and all this, it takes away from it. So now we can give it a fair artistic view and listen. I know you have another question. 'Cause you got,
I can't ask all that. I can't ask all that. I just listen.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions from the audience?
I know
You've got
you
a
have
question?
questions.
Come up here, sweetheart. And what's your name?
Hello.
Brianna.
Brianna.
Hi, Brianna.
Do you know John? This is John. What's your question?
How many records or CDs have you made past a few years?
Can you say it a little louder?
How many records or CDs have you made?
Me personally,
Yeah.
hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah. For Death Row, I made a few, but I've worked with a lot of people. I've worked with Shalimar and Lakeside and Babyface. I've worked with Country Western. I've worked with Count Basie. I've worked with people you probably never heard of, but you should, because it's part of our history, and you would really enjoy them. So I made hundreds of records. They all weren't good. But I've made a lot. She didn't say how many good records we made. Most of them were good.
Okay.
Are you a singer? Do you like music?
Yeah.
How many records have you made?
That's her.
How many records do you want to make?
Millions?
1,000?
1,000?
Okay.
Oh, you better get started. How many good records do you want to make?
Yeah.
All of them. Platinum seller. Thank you very much. You're
I
very
look forward to hearing
brave.
your record one day.
Pardon?
When you make your record, I look forward to hearing it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you very much, John, for coming by.
Thank you
I
for
know-
having me.
Oh, not a problem. Please come back anytime, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about Wide Awake, Death Row. And how can people purchase the
You
Snoop
can-
Doggy Dogs Lost Sessions and Dr.
You can
Dre?
find them online at the various places for people. They're in Best Buy, Target, Walmart, lots of places. But you can go to deathrowmusic.com and get most of the information. You may even be able to buy them there.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get information on everything. I make the records, but I really don't know where they are. I know where these two
You know
are.
what these two are? Well, they're here right now. Thanks again, and come back
It's been
anytime.
a pleasure. I'm glad to have you. And thank you all for being here and your questions. And make a record and call me. All right? 1,000 records. Not 999. 1,000. All right?
You want more?
All right.
That's beautiful.
Thank
We're
you,
going to
Ben.
take a look now at the Death Row, the new Death Row promo video, and take a look at what's been going on over the year. Take a look right now.
Again, thank you. I'll see you in a few hours.
See you, yeah.